Ever imagine your motorcycle telling you it needs an oil change before you even see a drop on the garage floor? That's kind of what we're talking about today with Ride In, the project you wanted to unpack. And this deep dive, well, it's going to be a wild ride.
It really is amazing using simple tech to solve a universal problem for us motorcycle lovers, keeping our bikes running.
So, problem. Motorcycle maintenance.
Yeah.
Solution. Ride In. But give me the lowdown, how does it actually work?
Picture this. Your bike with its own fitness tracker, a console, using, those Arduino and ESP32 computers, the simple ones, and it's always working, gathering information, about the engine temperature and oil pressure, even tire wear. Then it sends it all straight to an app on your phone.
So it's like having, what, mechanic on board watching everything.
Exactly. But instead of waiting for something to break, Ride In is all about seeing it before it happens. Remember that low tire pressure example? Ride In could warn you before you get a flat tire, maybe even prevent an accident.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Sounds like something straight out of the future, but using tech we already have. So for someone like a mechanic, who's used to getting their hands dirty, what's the upside?
For mechanics, this is like having X-ray vision. They see a detailed report on the bike before the owner even walks in. So it's really about working smarter, offering better service, and having a real conversation with the customer.
No more guessing games about those weird noises. And speaking of smart, let's talk about why Ride In is really innovative. We talked about what it is, how it works, but what makes it truly stand out.
Ride In nails it on 3 levels: quality, time, and being realistic.
Break that down for me. How do those ideas actually work in the real world?
Quality means Ride In is built on tons of testing. They use reliable parts and are always checking to make sure the system is strong and dependable. After all, who wants a maintenance system that breaks down more than their bike?
Good point. What about the time aspect? Tech moves fast.
You got it. And that's where using platforms like Thunkable comes in. It lets them develop the app really quickly so they can make changes and updates way faster than the old ways.
They're adaptable, ready for anything. Okay, last one, feasibility. For a lot of riders, cost is a big deal when it comes to keeping the bikes going.
And that's the genius of using those affordable, ready-made parts like Arduino and ESP32. It keeps the price down, making Ride In something most motorcycle owners could actually afford.
Not just a fancy toy, but a tool for everyone. Now let's step back and look at the larger impact. I'm always amazed at how new tech changes things. What are some ways Ride In could impact things beyond just happy bikes and mechanics?
That's where it gets interesting. Ride In could change everything from safety on the road to the environment.
Now you've got my attention. Tell me more.
First, a well-maintained motorcycle is a safer motorcycle. By encouraging people to take care of their bikes, Ride In could mean fewer breakdowns, fewer problems, and hopefully fewer accidents on the road.
That's a big deal. So it's not just about one rider. It's about making things safer for everyone.
Exactly. And we can't forget about the environmental impact. When an engine runs well, it's more efficient, burns cleaner, and pollutes less. Imagine if more people took care of their bikes thanks to Ride In.
It's like your motorcycle is helping the planet. So we've got safer roads, a lighter footprint. What about the future of this tech itself? What could Ride In become down the line?
The cool thing about Ride In is that it's modular. It can grow and change. Imagine going beyond just monitoring. What if AI stepped in, looked at the data, and told you not just that something's wrong, but predicted what's going to break and when?
Whoa, from fixing to predicting. That's next level stuff.
And since Ride In uses accessible tech, it can change as technology gets better. Who knows what we'll see in the future?
It's exciting to think about. We have this system that could totally change how we think about taking care of motorcycles. But here's something to chew on. Could this be the start of a bigger change? Could Ride In's approach change how we maintain all vehicles? Cars, trucks even, boats.
That's the million-dollar question. We can't predict the future, but Ride In shows us some big trends in that direction.
Like what? Give me the inside scoop.
Well, first off, this sophisticated tech is becoming more and more within reach. What Ride In is doing now with Arduino and ESP32, imagine that with even more powerful, but still affordable tech in the future.
So the tools are becoming more available. What else?
There's this huge push towards using data to make decisions. We have all this information, and Ride In shows us how to use it to stay ahead of problems, not just react to them.
So it's not just about having data, but knowing how to use it.
Exactly. And let's not forget about people. They want transparency, they want control, especially when it comes to something as important as their vehicle. Ride In puts that power back in the owner's hands.
Knowledge is power, as they say.
But
So for our listeners who are probably tinkering with their bikes right now, what does all of this mean? We might be on the edge of a major change. Ride-in, right now, is all about motorcycles. But its ideas, its technology, those have the potential to change how an entire industry thinks about keeping vehicles running smoothly.
From a biker's garage to a global revolution. That's a wrap on our deep dive into Ride-In. Big thanks to our listener for sending in this awesome topic. And remember, whether you're a seasoned rider or just curious about the future of tech, keep those wheels turning and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
It's all about, working smarter, not harder, offering more specific services, and having, real conversations with their customers about their bikes.
No more guessing games about weird noises. I like it. And speaking of smart, why is Ride-In really innovative? We've talked about what it is, how it works, but what makes it stand out as, truly new?
Ride-In, it really hits those three big things for innovation,
Yeah.
quality, time, and actually being doable.
Okay, break those down for me. What do those actually mean, in the real world? Well, with quality, Ride-In, they're all about testing. I mean,
Right.
constant testing. They use parts you can count on, and they never stop checking to make sure the whole system is tough and reliable.
Makes sense. Nobody wants a maintenance system that breaks down more than their bike. So what about time? Tech moves so fast these days.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where they're smart to use things like Thunkable. It lets them build the app super fast, meaning they can change and update things way quicker than the old ways of doing it.
So they're, agile? Ready to adapt on the fly. Okay, last one you said doable, but I think a lot of writers hear feasibility, and what they think about is cost.
Yeah, and that's the genius of using those off-the-shelf parts like Arduino and ESP32. Keeps the cost way down, which means Ride-In could actually be affordable for, a lot of motorcycle owners.
So it's not just a fancy toy for the rich. It's a tool everyone can use. I want to zoom out a little bit here, talk bigger picture for a second. I'm always fascinated by, the ripple effects when new tech comes along. What are some of the ways Ride-In could be impactful beyond, happy bikes and mechanics with an easier job?
That's where it gets really interesting. You see, Ride-In, it could change things from safety to the environment.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Think about it. A well-maintained motorcycle is a safer motorcycle. If more people take care of their bikes because of Ride-In, well, that could lead to fewer breakdowns on the road, fewer malfunctions, and in the end, hopefully, fewer accidents.
Wow, yeah. It's not just about the individual rider then, it's about making the roads safer for everyone.
Exactly. And then there's the environmental piece, which is huge. An engine that's well-tuned, it just runs better, right? Runs fuel cleaner, pollutes less. So imagine if a bunch of riders start taking better care of their bikes because of Ride-In.
It's like your motorcycle becomes this, data-driven tool for sustainability. So we've got safer roads, less pollution. What about the tech itself, though? What could Ride-In become down the line?
Well, the cool thing is Ride-In, it's built to change, It's modular. So think about it, going past just checking on your bike. What if they had AI in there looking at all that data, not just telling you something's up, but actually predicting what's going to break and when?
Okay, so from fixing stuff to seeing the future, basically, that's wild.
And because they use tech that's easy to get, it can grow as technology changes. It's really, who knows what they'll come up with.
It's pretty exciting to think about. So here we are talking about the system that could change how we think about taking care of bikes. But here's the big question. Is this a one-off thing, or is Ride-In the start of something bigger? Could this change how we maintain all vehicles, you think? Cars, trucks, maybe even boats?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Nobody has a crystal ball, but Ride-In does show us some big trends, that's for sure.
Like what? I'm all ears.
Well, for one, the really advanced tech, it's getting cheaper and easier to find all the time. What they're doing now with Arduino and ESP32, imagine that with even better but still affordable tech in a few years.
Okay, so the tools are out there. What else?
We're also in this huge shift towards data-driven everything, right? We're swimming in information.
Yeah.
And Ride-In shows how you don't just react to it, you get ahead of the game.
So it's not enough to just have data. You got to be smart about using it.
100%. And we can't forget the human element here. People, they want to know what's going on. They want to be in control. And that's especially true with something like their vehicle. Ride-In, it puts the power back with the owner.
Knowledge is power, right?
Right.
Okay, so for everyone listening who's probably got their own wrench in hand right now, what's the takeaway here?
We might be seeing a real turning point. Ride-In, for now, it's a motorcycle thing. But those ideas behind it, the tech they're using, it could change how a whole industry thinks about keeping vehicles running.
From a biker's garage to, who knows, maybe changing the world. That is a wrap on our deep dive into Ride-In.
Big thanks to our listener for sending in this awesome topic. And whether you're a seasoned rider or just curious about the future, keep those wheels turning. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.